is going to be a very relaxed video. And I didn't plan on doing a third tank mouse video, but here we are. Let's see what happens. The only reason I'm doing this is I realized it's been about a year since I first did a video on the tank mouse. And if you're unfamiliar with the tank mouse, I'll have links in the description below to video 1 and video 2. But really, it's a reimagined Commodore mouse. That's a little difficult to see, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. So, it's the iconic Commodore mouse that you saw with the Amigas. However, this one has Bluetooth, USB. You can even get a USB dongle to use it with your Amiga or Commodore 64. It was on Kickstarter. I thought it was a really great idea, and I bought one. And so did some other people. And people were mixed about it. I still think, and I stand by my original videos, that I think this is a really great idea. You're taking an iconic mouse, updating it to modern day use. And it is true that the tank mouse is my daily driver. I still have been using this as daily with my T495 for almost a year. And I am fairly happy with it. If you look at some of the comments in my videos or just comments in general about forums with the tank mouse, a lot of people complain about battery life, and I will tend to agree with that. My original tank mouse, keyword, my original tank mouse, I was replacing batteries a little more often in it than, let's say, my Logitech or Microsoft or really any other wireless mouse from a real manufacturer. Keep in mind, this is a Kickstarter. Now, yeah, Kickstarter items go into production, but I really never consider them full production items, at least not until a couple revisions down the road. So I never expected a perfectly polished product. That's just kind of what I think about with Kickstarters. But a lot of people really complain with the battery life with it, and my original tank mouse did have a poor battery life. But at the time, in my previous home office, this is new, right next to my desk, I had my rechargeable batteries there, so it was really easy to swap them out. So it was an inconvenience, but it was an inconvenience that, due to my situation, was rectified pretty easily. Now, I still do use rechargeable batteries for pretty much everything in this office. It's just not next to my desk. I got to get up, so it's a little bit more annoying, right? But that being said, after my second video, I had issues with stuttering with the scrolling. So one of the issues I had, and I talked about this a lot, is if the mouse is just sitting still, sometimes the screen, if I was on a web page, the screen would jump up and down. Or if I tried to scroll with it, because the way this mouse works, there's a touchpad in the middle. That's your scroll. It's actually really neat, right? If you were scrolling, sometimes it would go really fast or stutter or just become unresponsive. It just act really weird. So shortly after I released that second video, the problem just got unusable. I couldn't use the mouse, or at least on any page that had scroll bars, because it would jump all over the place and it would become unusable. So I reached out to Lukas on Kickstarter, and I'm going to pull up what I said. And where is it? All right, so I said, hey, Lukas, love the mouse. However, it randomly scrolls. Is this a known issue? Is there a workaround? I was thinking maybe there was a firmware or something we could do to correct the mouse I had. He responded back the very next day saying, hey, when did the problem show up? And I said, hey, look, it was on and off when I received it, but it's gotten worse in the past 2 weeks, unusable at times. I've turned it on and off and tried different batteries as well. Same results on USB or Bluetooth. Now, I think that's important because what I find is a lot of the people complaining about it just honed in on one issue. And if I am going to complain to a manufacturer, I want to give them a whole smorgasbord of, hey, these are all the things I've tried. I've done rechargeable batteries, non-rechargeable batteries, and I've used a whole bunch of different batteries on this, from, Amazon Basic brand to Duracell, Energizer, pretty much anything you'd find in the store to see if that would resolve my stuttering issue and make the battery life last a little longer. And it didn't, right? But immediately he responded, "Hey, a replacement mouse will be sent with the next shipping batch." And I said, "Great, all right." So, and then I got my second mouse. I have two now. This second one, and let me step back a little bit, because my Kickstarter has no connection. At least my Kickstarter account just has my name on it, right? Nothing to RTOD, my YouTube. So unless you knew who I was and made the connection, and the reason I'm saying that is because in some Tank Mouse forums or just Reddit posts about it, people would say they reached out and they were never sent a replacement mouse, or they were blamed for using wrong batteries, or this, that, and the other thing. And I want to be clear, and I don't think I'm like famous, like I'm not, but really, if you search Tank Mouse on YouTube, I'm really the only guy that's talked about it after it's released. There's one or two videos, but nobody really did in-depth reviews. So I wanted to make sure that Lukas wasn't going to give me a free one because I did videos on it. At least I don't think so. But anyway, I got a new Tank Mouse. Now, the one I got was a second or third production run. That's why I had to wait for a new batch to roll out. It fixed the stuttering issue, number one, right? But number two, I now leave this mouse on all the time. And yeah, I'm replacing batteries more than in my Logitech mouse, but I'm getting a month and a half, almost 2 months out of it. That's being on all the time on Bluetooth. Not great, I would be disappointed if a Logitech, Microsoft, or any other name brand mouse had that performance, but a lot better than my original one. People were reporting a week and a half, 2 weeks of battery life, and I'm getting almost 2 months on it, and I think that's reasonable. It's not great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to defend this. If this was something I would have bought in a store, had a brand name on it, I would be incredibly disappointed. But for a Kickstarter mouse, okay, great, I'll take it. It's the novelty that I have it, right? And then the old one, I asked Lukas, "Do you want this back?" He didn't want the old one back. So the old one, since the scroll wheel was really the issue, this one lives with my Commodore 64, the USBs plugged into the machine, because you can't use the scroll on it. So it works out, right? And I'm not that concerned about battery life, because I don't use it that much on the Commodore, and I don't have an Amiga, so I don't need the mouse function all the time. But overall, I still like it. I think it's a novelty mouse, right? I still use it as my daily driver because I'm a glutton for punishment. I have better mice, and there are times if I'm doing something in, Photoshop, or I just need precision and a really good mouse, I'll switch to something else. But for daily driving, going around on YouTube or just surfing the internet, this is great. It does everything I need. I think it looks good. It's a great conversation piece. Every time somebody sees it, they think it's interesting, and we talk about it a little bit. But it is by no means, in my opinion, a full-fledged production-ready mouse that I would be satisfied with if I bought at a store. But for Kickstart novelty mouse, I think it's great. The box art is wonderful. No difference in the box art between the first or the second one. I actually don't know which box is my first or the second one, but no noticeable difference between the two mice. The packaging, it doesn't even say on the back, does it? No. Yeah, no indication of which one was an earlier or later revision. So the only thing I can assume is the second mouse I got maybe has different firmware in it, maybe has different parts, maybe there was capacitor issues or something sourced in this original one that made it drain battery life more. and the scroll issue. But I don't want to focus too much on the scroll issue because I didn't find too many other people complaining of that. Everybody complained about the battery life, and maybe they all had scroll issues and they were just bummed out with the battery life that they got rid of it or switched back to another mouse. But you can still buy this mouse, and if you go to tank-mouse.com, it'll pretty much redirect you. The Tank Mouse website is just, I don't want to say it's a placeholder, but that's where everything is. But really, you have to be redirected to another site to buy it. And looking at today, you still have the DB9 to USB adapters, the replacement buttons. You can get the mouse itself with just the USB plug and Bluetooth for €39.99. If you want the DB9 adapter with it, you can get it for €56.99. This is not sponsored. I'm not connected with anybody with this. I just want to put the information out there if you do want to get this mouse. If you do get it, do not expect a world-class mouse. That's not what it is, right? There are, and I talked about this in previous issues, it's a tank mouse. It's a 1980s Commodore mouse. It is not the most ergonomic thing you're ever going to have in your hand. It might be a little uncomfortable to use. That's part of the novelty, so accept that. You are going to be changing batteries more than a normal mouse, but other than that, it connects great on Bluetooth. As soon as you turn it on, boom, it's connected. I haven't seen any issues with it using it day to day. My new one, I don't have any more scroll issues. That's wonderful. But month and a half, maybe 2 months of battery life, just not acceptable in my opinion for a production mouse. I have Logitech mice that I don't even remember the last time I changed the battery in it. They're just sitting over there working. One's not even plugged in. It's on. It's just flashing away, doing its thing. Haven't replaced the battery in it. Still works. So I just wanted to do a little recap on this. Like I said, not high production with this. I just wanted to put it out there because it's been about a year since I talked about this, and even today, I really don't see a whole lot of people talking about the Tank Mouse anymore, and I wanted to make sure we close the loop. So this is the third and final Tank Mouse video. Before we close out, I just want to say thank you to everybody who likes, subscribes, and comments on my video. It's everybody says that, right? It's cliche, but I've noticed a trend upward lately. A lot of more people are getting exposed to my videos, and I really appreciate that. So if you're watching and you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the bell, do all the things so you get notified when I put videos out. It means a lot to me, and it gives me motivation to keep going forward. So if you like modern recreations of 80s iconic mice that aren't comfortable to use, like, subscribe, tell your friends, and we'll catch you next time.